There's a level of discipline that makes people look at you with fear. I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about that one person you know or have seen who just doesn't quit. The one who wakes up at the same time every single day, does the same things, and just never stops. While everyone else taps out by week 3, they're still going. While everyone else is making excuses, they just show up, and you know what people say about them? Man, that guy's not normal. And today, you're going to discover exactly how to get there. Have you ever seen that person? The one who never fails? It's almost unsettling, right? Like, how do they do it? What do they have that you don't? Well, I'm about to show you. There's an ancient system created by Zen monks in Japan that produces exactly this kind of frightening consistency. They call it gyuji. It's the practice that perpetuates itself. And once you understand how it works, you will never break a goal again. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. This system isn't for everyone. It requires you to kill a part of yourself you never even knew existed. Before I show you how it works, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now, like this video. And in the comments, tell me the one habit you most want to build in your life. This helps me out big time, and it shows me you're serious about changing. Let's get into it. Chapter 1, The Awakening. The story I'm about to tell you is about a programmer named Raphael. Smart guy, successful career. But he had one problem that was eating him alive. He couldn't stick to any habit for more than 2 weeks. Gym? He quit after 2 months. Meditation? 1 week, and that was it. Reading? He'd buy a book, read 3 pages, and then forget it existed in a drawer somewhere. The pattern was always the same. Monday? Total motivation. He was fired up. Wednesday? The first mental negotiation started creeping in. Friday? Complete surrender. He was done. Sunday? He'd be back making promises to himself about the next week. Sound familiar? Raphael tried everything. Habit tracking apps, rewards, accountability partners. Nothing worked. You know why? Because he was fighting something he couldn't even imagine. He was fighting the very architecture of his own brain. And he was losing bad. That is, until the day he discovered why Zen monks can meditate for 800 years straight without missing a single day. And no, it's not willpower. It's something way deeper and way more frightening. If you're ready to stop losing the battle, hit that like button and comment, I'm ready. Let me know you're in this with me. Chapter 2, The Secret of the Monks. In Zen temples in Japan, there's a rule that seems incredibly simple, but it changes everything. It's called gyuji. Literally translated, it means continuous practice without gaps. Without gaps. Do you understand the weight of that? It means that since the year 1200 AD, every single day at 3:30 in the morning, a bell rings at Aiheiji Temple. And since 1200 AD, every single day, the monks wake up, not at 3:25, not at 3:35, exactly at 3:30. You want to know what never, ever happens in that temple? No monk ever lies in bed thinking, should I get up today? That question doesn't exist in their minds. It's not even an option. Why? Because they understand something you don't yet. Your brain categorizes every single commitment into one of 2 boxes, reversible or irreversible. Reversible commitments become mental negotiations. You wake up and your brain immediately starts a debate. Should I go to the gym today? Maybe tomorrow. Irreversible commitments? They just happen. There's no debate. There's no negotiation. When a monk takes his vows in front of the entire community, he's not making a promise. He's changing his identity. He's not promising to try to meditate. He's declaring himself a meditator. The whole community witnesses it. The identity shifts. The negotiation ends. Permanently. A Harvard University neuroscientist spent 15 years studying habits and discovered something revolutionary. When you make a behavior public, your primitive brain, the oldest, most basic part of you, interprets failure as a survival threat. Think about it. Our ancestors who lost status in the tribe, they died. They got cast out. Your brain today still operates on that same wiring. That's exactly what Raphael did. He stopped making private promises to himself and started making public declarations. He wrote on a piece of paper, I am a person who meditates for 20 minutes every day at 5 a.m. for 90 consecutive days. He signed it. He posted it on social media. He told everyone at his office. His girlfriend said, "You're being way too dramatic." His coworker said, "Dude, you're trying too hard. Just relax." Perfect. Every single person he knew became fuel for his fire. Every morning when he wanted to give up, he had to think about looking every one of those people in the face and admitting he was just another guy who couldn't deliver on his promises. Day 3 brought the first real test. The alarm went off at 5 a.m. immediately. His brain started its usual routine. You're exhausted. This isn't healthy. One day off isn't going to make a difference. But something fundamental had shifted. The thought of posting online that he'd quit after just 3 days was unbearable. Having to look his girlfriend in the eyes and admit he'd given up again? Unthinkable. The public declaration had made quitting more painful than continuing. But here's where the real problem began. And this is where most people miss it. Subscribe so you don't miss the next part. Chapter 3. The Internal War. Even with all that social pressure, Raphael was still fighting a war every single day. His body didn't care about his reputation. When he was tired, it wanted to sleep. The public declaration ended the mental negotiation, but he was still battling biology every morning. That's where he discovered the monk's second principle, non-negotiable hours. Every single day, you waste massive amounts of mental energy on the same stupid question. When am I going to do this? Now or after breakfast? In the morning or at night? This decision burns up glucose in your brain that should be used for actual practice. You're wasting your fuel deciding when to drive instead of actually driving. Raphael chose 5 a.m., not because he was a morning person who loved watching the sunrise. He chose 5 a.m. for one reason, because the world is asleep. No messages, no emails, no distractions, no excuses. The time wasn't about optimization. It was about elimination. Eliminating every possible reason to do it later. The first week was hell. His body fought him every single morning. That's normal. Your body is a machine that runs on patterns, and you're forcing it to build a new pattern. It resists. That's what it does. But in the second week, something shifted. He started waking up 2 minutes before his alarm. His body had begun preparing for what now awaited it. On day 14, the alarm rang, and his feet hit the floor before his conscious mind even engaged. No thought, no decision, just movement. It was automatic. Here's what most people don't understand about fixed hours. It's not about finding the perfect schedule. It's about removing time as a variable. When you do something at different times every day, you're asking your brain to make a new decision every single time. When the schedule is fixed, your brain can't argue with a constant. It just accepts it. But Raphael discovered a new problem. His schedule was fixed, but he kept changing what he did during that time. Some mornings, meditation felt right. Other days, he'd read. Sometimes he'd do a few push-ups. His brain had found a new negotiating point. Instead of arguing about when, it started arguing about what. 20 minutes at 5 a.m. became reliable, but the practice itself was chaos. The fixed schedule had solved half the equation, but his mind was still finding loopholes to negotiate. He'd eliminated the when, but not the what. And this is where the teaching of a Zen master named Dogen becomes controversial, because it requires you do exactly the same thing every single day until your mind completely surrenders. If you're ready to surrender the old you, drop a comment with the word surrender. Let's lock in. Chapter 4, The One Way. You think variety keeps things interesting, right? Wrong. Variety is actually where consistency dies. Every single time you change what you're doing, your brain has to make micro decisions. Should I do push-ups or burpees today? Which book should I read? How long should I meditate? Every small decision is a crack. And through those cracks, your old patterns leak back in. Raphael locked everything down. Completely. 20 push-ups. 10 minutes of meditation. 10 minutes of reading. Same order. Same timer. Same thing. Every single day. He called it his personal Ango period. 90 days of identical practice. His friends called him robotic. His girlfriend said he was getting annoying. They didn't understand that Annoying was exactly the point. Third week, his mind went to war. Every morning it screamed for variety. This is stupid. You're not a robot. Mix it up or you're going to burn out. Fourth week, something broke. Not his discipline, his resistance. The voice of negotiation got quieter. By week 6, he was halfway through his push-ups before he even realized he'd started. The practice was taking care of itself. This is what people don't understand about consistency. It's not about willpower lasting forever. It's about repetition until willpower is no longer needed. Your body learns a sequence like a dancer learns choreography. An MIT researcher spent 12 years studying the automatization behaviors. He explains it like this. When you repeat an action in the same context for approximately 66 days, the basal ganglia of the brain takes over. The behavior becomes automatic. You are no longer deciding to do it. You are simply doing it. 66 days. That's the magic number. On day 35, Raphael caught the flu. On day 40, he had to travel for work. This is where the old pattern kicks in. Sick day? Rest day. Travel? Exception. This is where you gave up before. This is where everyone gives up because perfect practice requires perfect conditions, and perfect conditions do not exist. But Dogen understood something about gaps that changes everything. He wrote that practice must continue without even a moment of gap, because in that gap, all your old patterns come rushing back. What saved Raphael when everything went wrong was understanding that practice doesn't require perfection. It requires continuity. Drop a comment right now. Continuity over perfection. Type it out. Own it. Chapter 5. Practice without gap. The all or nothing lie has killed more consistency than laziness ever could. You tell yourself, if I can't do the full 20 minutes, why do anything? If I can't do perfect push-ups, I'll just wait until tomorrow. This thinking creates gaps, and gaps are where your old self crawls back in. Look at any elite athlete. You'll see something most people misinterpret. They have rest days. Yes, but those rest days are still progress. They're intentional, strategic, planned, never because they feel lazy, never because they don't feel like it. A rest day is a tool that allows them to train harder tomorrow. It's still movement toward the goal. But when you skip because you're tired, that's not rest. That's retreat. A river never stops flowing. During a drought, it might be a trickle, but it never stops. The moment it stops, it's no longer a river. It's just a memory of where the water used to be. Your practice is the same. The moment you create a gap, you're no longer practicing. You're just someone who used to practice. Travel day arrived on day 40. Airport at 4 a.m. meetings all day. No gym at the hotel. Raphael did push-ups in the airport bathroom. People stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Great. He meditated in the Uber. He read on the plane. Nothing was perfect, but everything maintained momentum toward the same goal he declared 90 days ago. This is Gyuji. Practice continuing itself. That's when people started to notice. Coworkers said he seemed different. Friends said he was becoming obsessive. Someone actually told him his discipline wasn't healthy, that normal people don't act like that. When you hear those words, you know you're on the right track. Normal people get normal results. You're not trying to be normal. You're trying to be unbreakable. If you're ready to be unbreakable, smash that like button and subscribe. We're building something real here. But here's what no one prepares you for. The unexpected obstacles you never saw coming. The things you can't plan for because you don't even know they exist. Chapter 6. Pre-solutions. Your kid gets sick. Your car breaks down on the way to the gym. Your boss keeps you late at work. These are consistency killers. And they kill your progress because you haven't pre-decided how to handle them. Every time an unexpected obstacle appears, you have to make a decision under stress. And that decision, in that moment of chaos, is where you will choose a path of least resistance every single time. The obstacle wins because you're fighting a battle you didn't prepare for. Zen monasteries have operated for centuries without missing a single day of practice. Earthquakes? Wars? Famines? The practice continues. How? They don't make decisions when obstacles arise. The answer already exists. When the meditation hall floods, they go to the dining hall. When the dining hall catches fire, they sit in the courtyard. There's no meeting, no discussion, no negotiation. The bell rings. The response is automatic. Raphael wrote down every single obstacle that had ever broken his consistency, and he pre-solved every one. Plan for rain? Push-ups in the garage. Guests staying over? Silent workout in the bathroom. Hangover? Which shouldn't happen, but if it does, 2 push-ups, 1 minute of meditation, 1 page of reading. Every scenario had its predetermined response. When X happens, I do Y. No thinking, no negotiating, just execution. The power of this isn't just maintaining the sequence. It's that you stop wasting mental energy on decisions. Your brain knows that no matter what happens tomorrow, the practice continues. This certainty changes your entire nervous system. A Yale University behavioral psychologist spent 20 years studying decision-making. He found that when you pre-decide your actions, you remove decision fatigue from the critical moment. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for willpower, stays intact to execute rather than to decide. Day 70. Raphael's practice had become completely automatic. He'd sometimes wake up not even remembering doing the push-ups. His body just moved through the sequence like a programmed machine. His girlfriend's mother came to visit for a week. He did push-ups in the bathroom at 5 a.m. The practice continued because the answers were already written. Day 90. He completed his personal ango. 3 months of uninterrupted practice. But something deeper had happened. He was no longer the same person. Friends literally told him, "Dude, your consistency is scary." His response was perfect. Great. If you want that kind of response, comment great right now. Claim it. Chapter 7, The Transformation. Because when your discipline makes other people uncomfortable, you're finally operating at the right level. Your existence proves that everything they say is impossible is actually just uncomfortable. That's why they'll call you obsessive. That's why they'll say you need balance. They need you to slow down so they can feel better about standing still. But you're not doing it for them. You're doing it because you've discovered the secret. Consistency isn't about doing something every day. It's about becoming someone who can't do it any other way. When you implement the GUJI system, public declaration, fixed schedule, seamless practice method, and pre-resolved answers, you're not just creating habits. You're reshaping your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who simply is. And when that happens, when that transformation is complete, people will look at you and think, how does he do that? And the answer will be simple. He doesn't do it. He is it. The question remains, are you ready for this level of transformation? Because it's not about discipline. It's about death and rebirth. The death of your inconsistent self. The birth of your unbreakable self. The GUJI system won't make you a better person. It'll make you a different person. Someone others will look at and think, that's not normal. And when you hear those words, you'll know you finally got where you want to be. If this video changed your perspective on discipline and consistency, do 3 things right now. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Second, like this video. It tells the algorithm to show this to more people who need to hear it. Third, comment below and tell me, what is your public declaration going to be? What habit are you going to lock in using the GUJI system? Remember, the consistency that scares others is the only consistency worth having. If you've watched this far, thank you. I mean that. See you in the next video.